I'm Tom Hooten, and I play principal trumpet with the Los Angeles Philharmonic. Playing the trumpet, and I guess basically any instrument, takes a combination of a lot of things. You know, you could say to play the trumpet, I have to have obviously wind, I have to have an embouchure, I have to have finger coordination, I have to have the idea of hearing what I want to play. And all those things by themselves are relatively simple. You know, if you told me to breathe, well, that's easy. If you told me to hold my embouchure in a certain way, that's relatively easy. If you told me to finger something, that's relatively easy. The problem is we have to do all these at the same time. So the thing I really like about this is that as brass players, we've been taught all these breathing exercises. And there are tools out there that help isolate, like a calisthenic, that, you know, holding isometric type stuff, and those are good too. But what I like about this is it combines the idea of air and aperture, because that's really when we start to become proficient at things, is when we can build and stack our habits and do them all at the same time without really concentrating, because we really want to concentrate on the music. So if we can condition ourselves to not only have this engaged in a way that helps keep the pressure from the mouthpiece on the teeth, that we keep this engaged forward while using the air in a intentional way, in a consistent way, that's a lot of what we try to do as brass players. The window helps combine the skill of a consistent breath, which is extremely important as a brass player. The second we stop supporting, we have no sound. So it takes that skill and all of the different options you have with the balloon, inflating it or not inflating it, sort of like a visual. That skill, which is so important, and probably the most underdeveloped skill of brass players, is that they just don't put enough importance of how they maintain their breath. So it takes that and combines it with the idea of engaging the aperture. So those two things I think are really important, and this device helps combine those. I mean, look at it, it's small. It's not requiring you to do some Herculean thing. I think a lot of times as brass players we think, I need to be really strong here. No, it's a endurance and quality sound comes from a balance of skill. And so that's what I like about this, is that you might be blowing, but you're not getting any air through because you're not engaging the corners. Or you might be engaging the corners, but then you notice, oh, my thought is on the corners, but no, it has to be with the air, you know. So yeah, I think it's a really cool, ingenious idea. The first thing would be that the middle of the embouchure, sort of like the reed on a clarinet or the reed on an oboe, responds easily and instantly. That's really important. But where the corners come into play is for me, I think they add two things. The first is the support to maintain that ease of response when you add air pressure or when you add resistance. So as I go higher or lower, I will challenge this easily responding aperture by trying to play higher or lower. And so the corners help maintain a certain degree of balance. I think a lot of the sound comes from the purity of how this responds. But what I find is that when this is engaged and when this is in shape, it offers a sense of flexibility. The more flexibility I have here, because I have support here, gives me more musical choices and more colors. You might tell somebody, really support with your corners, and you don't have a sense of what that feels like until you put something there and like, oh, that's what that feels like to go this way. And that's cool. If nothing else, if you just got that sensation of like, it's right here. It's not here. It's not, it's different for everybody, but this helps sensitize that. And I think that's cool. I think that's one of the biggest things that helped with me is that it just helped me get like sort of tangible concept of what I'm trying to go for when I put the mouthpiece up. So if I feel that I could remind myself of what it's like to really keep the corners forward, I'll pull it out and just remind myself. And it's weird because I think I know what it's going to feel like, but then when I use it, I think, I could use the corners a little bit better. And so that little distinction is really valuable, and I think that's how we build skill. It's reminding ourselves of an ideal and then trying to recreate it, reminding us, recreate it.